The weather outside today is indeed frightful, but NHL hockey playoffs is certainly delightful. So welcome to a special edition of Sports from the Stool, a playoff edition of Sports from the Stool. This is probably our most challenging production yet. You see all of our very highly thought out props here. It looks like it's going to be a wonderful edition here of Sports from the Stool. So anyway, we're going to start off here with the playoffs here. The Western Conference we're going to start with first. We have the first round series, Greg, the San Jose Sharks and the Colorado Avalanche. Greg, now what's your verdict on this series?
Well, I think that I know San Jose has had its problems in the last couple of years as far as getting out of the first round, but with how badly Colorado has struggled, they're not playing a team like the Ducks that have been going to the playoffs on a hot streak. I think that this is going to be a really, really easy series, 4 or 5 games, and I'm picking San Jose, especially with all the experience they got from the Olympics.
I'm also picking San Jose. I think the big three are going to come through this year, and I think Nabokov's kind of turned the corner. So I'm picking the San Jose Sharks to win in the first round against the Avalanche. The second series we have the Chicago Blackhawks and the Nashville Predators. I'm again going to go with the favorite here. I think despite their goaltending problems, the Blackhawks are certainly deep and talented. They're going to score a ton of goals in this series. They're going to advance in, I'm going to say 5 games.
I'll have to agree with you there with Chicago, but I'm a little bit leery about this pick simply because Nashville sort of reminds me of a team like the Ducks and all that was very strong from the back end, but again, just too much firepower and a young goalie that seems to be on a bit of a hot streak.
Okay, well, next being Tatis's out. The next we have the Vancouver Canucks and the Los Angeles Kings. I think this series is going to be a lot closer than people think. I know Jonathan Quick has really struggled in goal. He's kind of getting overworked, but I think he's going to keep minute. Luongo is going to help the Canucks. Obviously, they have a ton of offensive depth. This is the first Canucks team that I can remember that has 3 solid lines and come at you in waves. I think the Canucks are going to win this series 6 games.
I'll have to agree with you as well. I don't know about 6 games, but I do think that Vancouver will move on. I do believe, I think I read somewhere that John Quick has started the most games in the NHL, and I think it's catching up to him as from what you've seen in the latter part of this season.
Okay, we have the Detroit Red Wings and the Phoenix Coyotes. Now, the Phoenix Coyotes have been a Cinderella story this season. No one expected them to be here. And I think no one expects them to win in the first round, and neither do I. The Red Wings have played fantastic since the Olympic break. They've been virtually unbeatable, probably the hottest team in the league. I'm going with Detroit, 5 games, if not a 4-game sweep.
I'd have to agree with you again on that one, simply because I mean I don't want to toot Pittsburgh's horn too much, but the Detroit team sort of reminds me of Pittsburgh last year, where they were sort of struggling in the first half of the season. They're healthy and they're really hitting their stride.
Okay. In the East, we have Washington and Montreal. I just don't think Montreal has the offensive firepower to win this series. I mean, Washington's the highest scoring team in the league. They have some goaltending issues. I think Theodore's going to start game 1. See how it goes from there. If Halak gets hot, it could be a close series, but I'm going with Washington in 5.
I'll go one step further and say Washington in 4. I think this is the easiest series to predict in the first round. Montreal basically has a bunch of garden gnomes on their team and just too small to be taking on the high-flying Capitals, who have outscored the rest of the NHL by at least, I think, a half a goal a game.
Okay, the next we have Philadelphia and New Jersey. I think it's no surprise who I'm going to pick in this series. The Philadelphia Flyers are going to win this series. The Devils do have Kovalchuk. They have Brodeur. Brodeur's looked human this year. I think the Flyers are going to pull this one off. They have too much offensive depth. Coming in the playoffs on a huge high with that game against Buffalo. I'm going with the Flyers as my lock of the week, first round pick.
Well, I would have to agree with you. That's my one sort of big upset in the first round as far as picking Philadelphia. They've been playing some good hockey of late. And New Jersey, I just don't trust overly. And to tell you the truth, Brodeur has been sort of human the last couple of playoff years. So that's my one upset for the first round.
Okay, Buffalo and Boston. I'm going to pick Buffalo Sabres. I think Ryan Miller has been just fantastic. He's going to carry them in this series. I like Rask, but the Sabres were with Boston as well. But I just don't seem to have enough offensive firepower to beat Ryan Miller. So I'm going with the Buffalo Sabres.
Again, I'll have to agree with you with Buffalo there. a Boston team that was already hurting for offense. Of course, losing Mark Savard to, I don't know, some hockey player earlier this season, but I can't remember what his name is.
Matt Cook, I think. He's one of my favorite guys in the league.
But but anyways, a team that's been depleted with offense just got even worse. And when you're trying to score goals against a hot goalie like Ryan Miller, you need all the help you can get. So.
Yeah, so if we disagree in the second, I'm going to Matt Cook you right away, right? So,
yeah.
Okay, so now we got Pittsburgh and Ottawa, and as much as it pains me to say this, Pittsburgh's going to win this series. Brian Elliott could steal a couple games for Ottawa, and they do have some playoff experience, so this could be a little more difficult series than maybe some people think. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh in 6.
Of course, I'll go with my homer pick with Pittsburgh, of course, with... but again, they're definitely not coming in as hot as they were last year, but I just don't see Ottawa matching up quite well with Pittsburgh.
Okay, let me go to the next round. San Jose and Detroit. I'm going with San Jose. I think this is San Jose's year. I mean, Nabokov has played really well the last couple weeks. The Sharks are going to finally get that monkey off their backs, and they're going to beat Detroit in a 7-game series. It's going to be a very tight series.
Okay, well, I guess I would have to say that this is the first time we disagree. Detroit just looks like too much like Pittsburgh like last year, and as much as I want to hope for San Jose with the hometown boy, they've just burned me too many times before, so I'm going to pick Detroit as far as...
pick Detroit.
Pick
okay,
Detroit.
Well, there's Greg's bracket down here then.
Yep.
All right. We're going to go with Chicago and Vancouver. I think Chicago's learned the lesson from last year. Chicago is going to move on in this series to face San Jose in the conference final. I like the Blackhawks in the series.
I will have to agree with you on that pick with Chicago. I know a lot of people are having questions about their goaltending, but I don't sort of understand why they say that, because every goalie has to start somewhere in the playoffs. So. Okay. I'll pick Chicago as well.
Great pick Chicago. All right. All right. Well, the Flyers and the Capitals. I know I'm going to go on a limb again here, but I think the Flyers are going to win this series. Capitals have a lot of talent, but I don't think the grit's there. The grit's not going to be there. Once playoff hockey starts, they're going to find out it's a whole different animal. The Flyers are going to knock out in a tough, grueling 7-game series. I'm going with the Flyers. Capitals, see you later.
Well, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to disagree with you on this one. I think midnight strikes for Cinderella with Boucher, and they're going to light him up in the second series, so I'm picking Washington.
Right. Okay. I'm going to pick the next series here, Buffalo and Pittsburgh. I'm going to pick the Buffalo Sabres. I think Ryan Miller has just been too fantastic. He's going to really shine in this playoff series here. It's going to be too much for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh here to disagree. Pittsburgh's going to find it a little tough against Pittsburgh. I'm going to go with Buffalo.
Crosby scored the big one against Miller in the Olympics, and he's going to do it again in the playoffs, and so I'm picking Pittsburgh.
Okay, all right, that's good. Okay, in the final here, San Jose and Chicago here in the West. I'm going to have to go with the Sharks. The Sharks are going to pull it out. I just don't trust Chicago's goaltending in a crucial situation like that. I'm going to go with the Sharks.
And my pick, I guess, in the next bracket is I'll be picking Chicago, as far as I think they learned a lot from last year, and I think they'll be coming out of the West.
All right, nothing there. Pittsburgh and Buffalo, or Philadelphia and Buffalo. This is a tough one. I really, really like Buffalo. They have great depth, great defense. Myers is a Rookie of the Year candidate on defense, but I'm going to have to pick with my heart here. I think the Flyers, Brian Boucher is going to take them to the promised land. Sharks and Flyers in the Stanley Cup final.
I hope we get this rivalry again in the Eastern Conference final, and I'm going to pick Pittsburgh again because Ovechkin has a way of not showing up in big games, so I'm picking Pittsburgh.
All right, so Stanley Cup matchups are set. Sharks and Flyers for me. Penguins and Hawks for Greg. Stanley Cup champion. As much as I want to root for the Flyers, this can be the Sharks here. The San Jose Sharks, Stanley Cup champions 2010.
Well, sorry, I'm going with the homer pick again, and guess what? I'm thinking that Pittsburgh is going to win the Stanley Cup again, and if they do this miraculous run for the 3rd straight year, I just don't even see them maybe not even making the playoffs next year, because that's a lot of hockey, and the magic's got to end sometime. But
okay, Tabor, those are our picks. Email us, call us, tell us what you think.